Hello, ineffable being. How are you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful, magical day. I want to tell you that you are a genius. You are special. You mean the world, and you are loved. Today, my message for you is to focus on the feeling. Focus on your feelings. They are the most important thing, and it cannot be underestimated. So, why is it so important? Well, there's a plethora of things, but basically, whenever we are in life, as we are human beings, and all we want is to create, right? So we get a job to have money to eat. The only reason why people probably meditate is for happiness. Whenever you get a job, it's for money. Whenever you have a relationship, it's to have a partner. The reason we do things in our life is to receive something that doesn't exist. That is the only reason people do things. Now, the flip side of that, in contrary, if you want to argue, well, if you already exist in something, then you're cultivating that and you're just duplicating the results. But in essence, there's only these two things. The only reason we do anything is to create something that doesn't exist. And if it does exist, then and we're doing the same thing, then it's to cultivate it. And even then, we are still creating something that doesn't exist. Because if we're talking about money and you have $1,000, but you keep working to have more money, well, you have more time having money. So it is very different of having lost weight and maintaining it for 6 months versus a year. Same thing with money. It's very different to have the amount of money you want for 6 months versus for 2 years. So that is the reason we do anything. Well, why is your feelings, why are they so important? Why should we just stop and ignore 100%, this Western idea of, I don't know, like this cold world where love doesn't exist and your emotions are invalid? Like, that is the most bonkers thing ever. And the reason is, if your main focus is your emotional state, is your feelings before sacrificing for money, a girl, going out, and etc. Well, this means that we take away whatever the physical thing is, you still have these chemicals inside. You still feel good. Again, the feeling is the most important thing and should be our main focus because that's internal. That's you. And we can change your physical universe, but what exists, excuse me, but what exists inside of you will remain. Now, I hear you, but Luis, I like money, I like sex, I like cars, I like technology. I'm not a bearded man that wears robes. I can't meditate all day. I have a corporate job or, I want to be this and I want to be that. And I understand. And let me tell you, I want the same things. I like money. I like technology. I like sex. But it doesn't mean that those things are more important or should govern whether or not I am going to focus on my feelings. You can live. You are an intelligent human being. This means that you can focus on your emotions. You can focus on your emotional bank balance, on your feelings around the clock, and still have the life that you want. If you want to drive a Bugatti, a Nissan GTR, which is my favorite car, then you know what? I can still do these things. And it doesn't mean just because you like technology or you live in the Western world or you don't meditate that happiness all of a sudden just isn't for you and shouldn't be something at the forefront of your life. No, I'm not talking about love. I'm talking about you. There's emotions that are in this world that you can't even put them into boxes. And that's why I talk about ineffability, ineffable. What is ineffable? When your experience of life is so grand that you can't put it into words. That's what you should be behind. That is where you should focus on. Why is this so important? Why is your emotions, your feelings so important? Well, I shared one point because if you inside, if you've learned to take charge of your internal environment, then the drama around you is going to happen. But inside, you feel good. And secondly, I pose this question to you. What comes first, growth or joy? What is more important to get you to where you want to go? What is more important, joy or growth? Oftentimes, many people are going to go with growth, are going to go with the more analytical, the more linear. Why? That is how we are brought up. Well, let me tell you that only in proper states of experience your body and brain work at its best. So if it's more money that you want, if it's better relationships, the Bugatti, the Nissan GTR, the dream house, the Grammy, the being on the Patriots, whatever it is that you want, the question is, how are you going to get there? And let me tell you that joy, happiness, should be at the forefront of your planning and your decision making because it is a scientific fact that the hormones of stress downregulate genes and create disease. Why? Just because the size of the neocortex, I can turn on the stress response by thought alone. I think about my problems, I turn on those chemicals. There is no animal in life that can live a good, fulfilled life having been in stress for extended periods of time. So the question I ask you, what comes first, growth or joy? And let me tell you that only in proper states of being, of experience, your brain and body work at its best. And beyond this, the moment you start to experience, you first accept the human experience comes from within. Pain and joyfulness comes from within. Happiness, sadness come from within. These are chemicals, people, that we're talking about. There's no experience that literally makes these chemicals. No, it is your body, your organs, your hormones, your brain, your heart that create this. Yes, the external environment creates a signal, and because you don't exist in your interior, because you're not inside being conscious, taking charge of your platform that essentially is your emotions, your thoughts, your energy, and your physical body, because you don't take charge of your platform, the world is dancing on top of you. And you say, I am this way because this experience happened to me 10 years ago. I am stressed out because of traffic. What that means is you have not learned how to take charge of your instruments. You have not learned how to consciously affect your biochemistry without physical action. And let me tell you what exists on the other side. Whenever you put happiness, joy, your feelings first, your immune system is going to be better. Why? Because the moment you start consciously creating a better emotional state for yourself through using your instruments, you're constantly sending this signal. Your immune system starts to better. You start to upregulate your genes. Dr. Joe Dispenza has done phenomenal investigations. We've seen upregulation of stem cells that go to damaged areas in the body and repair them. We see the gene for oxidative stress be upregulated. We see the gene for neurogenesis be upregulated. The growth of new neurons in response to novel experience and learning. We even see your telomeres that tells our biological age being lengthened by focusing on your heart, on your emotions. What else? The moment your body feels good and you're sending all these better chemical signals, your brain is receiving these and it translates these into electrical signals that we call thought. So your feelings are better, your thoughts start to change. And what happens when your thoughts start to change? You have to make different decisions. When you make different decisions, you create different actions. When you create different actions in your world, you just created a new experience. And now you are moving towards the life that you want. So I invite you, ineffable being, right now, make the decision today to focus on your feelings and ignore what your parents, what your family, what your job, ignore what society will tell you, and focus on your feelings. Ineffable being, if you want more information, if this video has sounded intriguing, if I've touched on some topics that you really want to dive deeper into and investigate, well, join me and my ineffable family the last Saturday of this month. I will deliver a free masterclass over how to live through the heart. I will touch on the mystical and the scientifics of how to cultivate an emotion ahead of the actual experience. Ineffable being, please put down in the comments, have you enjoyed this video? And also put down in the comments if you have not enjoyed this video. Put down in the comments what topics you would like for me to cover in the future. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I hope to see you on the side of light. Goodbye.